I'm Lily, and I'm going to be drawing more Genshin characters according to my headcanons. Today, I'm going to be drawing Klee and Diona, the two little beans of Mondstadt. I feel like my opinion on these two definitely isn't the norm. While I love both of them, I actually prefer Diona. I'll go into that more during the time-lapse, though. Now, let's get to the culture and inspirations that I had for these two. Klee's design seems to be based off a Japanese kindergartner. She has a lot of elements that reflect that. Her tent dress, little pigtails, and the fact that she even has dodoko, which is like a very... It looks like a chibi, cute little animal you would see in Japan, or like a stuffed animal. Klee's name is of Swiss origin, and it means clover, which we can see as a theme in her design with all the little clover details she has. It's a little bit interesting though that they chose a 4-leaf clover instead of a regular 3-leaf. Something else that seems to be a theme, at least for me, is fae-like qualities, and let me explain. It's mainly with her personality, with how mischievous she can be, like how she tries to go bomb fishing behind Jean's back, and not that her efforts to hide it are successful though. It reminds me of how the fae in older folklore are like a bit mischievous and a bit of a trickster sometimes, just overall a lot more, let's say, devious than the modern interpretation of fae. And now with Diona, am I the only one who feels like she has almost like a sailory vibe? Maybe it's just me. Anyway, Diona's staple in her design is just cats. Cats and kittens everywhere. Paw shoes, paw bag, Pete's and toe beans all on her gloves. Pretty much the purpose of her design is to just be a cute little kitty healer. So I kept that in mind during the redesign. And speaking of those, let's get right into the time lapse. So here we are starting off with Klee. I was so excited to do Klee's redesign whenever I decided who I was going to be redesigning next, because I knew it was just going to be so much freaking fun, and just with all these cute little details and just able to kind of have like fun and relax and make this just adorable little design. So when I went into the redesign, my first goal was to make her look just completely childlike. Nothing in there that could be like reminiscent of you-know-what bait, because Klee's supposed to be an adorable little kid. That's what she's supposed to be, and we're not going to make her anything else. So as I was thinking about this, I decided to make her tent dress a little bit longer and just give her like some little details that look more cutesy, or how like a parent would dress a child. And I even like thought back to how my parents would dress me as a kid, or what I saw when I was a kid and how other parents would dress their kids. So it definitely it took me back a little bit to try to redesign her. Another thing that I wanted to do was move her vision off her bag, simply because I feel like she would forget it, because just knowing kids, they leave things everywhere and they forget it, and they forget their toys or their bags, so I put it on her dress so there's absolutely no way that she could forget it somewhere. And I can imagine like they attach that, like Kea, Jean, or whoever, or Albedo, attach it with like a pin, and they're like, okay, don't touch it, Klee, you know, just so she doesn't end up losing her vision. I also removed the little heels on her boots, because just little kids, especially supposed to be as young as Klee, are very clumsy, and if she had any heels on her boots, she would probably bust her butt and just, you know, hurt herself or fall over, so remove those. And I also added some cute little pom-poms on them. You know, something I noticed about like children's clothes or children's shoes specifically, they are always like super cute with little details like the light up lights, pom-poms, you know, sparkles, cute little tassels, just everything to make it adorable as possible. I also made it look like part of her dress had been stitched up, because I mean, she uses bombs. She is a wild child. She is absolutely crazy and rambunctious. She is going to mess up that dress, and there's going to have to be some repairs done to it. And on this note, I was thinking of adding some band-aids to her legs, but then I ended up changing that and giving her tights, because thinking about it when I was a little kid, anytime that my parents would put me in a dress, and this was kind of like a norm for my area that I lived in, they would always put tights underneath the dress. And I feel like the reason why is pretty obvious, but I never saw like a little kid, specifically little girls, that would have like a dress, like a tent dress on, and not have tights underneath. So I wasn't able to do the band-aids, but let's just imagine that she has band-aids on under her tights and stuff, because Lord knows she probably hurts herself all the time. I did end up making her skin tone just a little bit darker, because Genshin characters are whiter than goddamn paper, and I don't like it. I also gave her some little freckles, because I thought that'd be a cute detail, and I noticed that kids usually have a lot of freckles, and oh my god, I'm running out of time. Help! Okay, gonna put this in really quickly, and the last little detail that I put is that she's missing a baby tooth, because she's a kid! And now on to Diona, the one that I actually prefer between the two, and I feel like I prefer her for the dumbest freaking reason, and I prefer her simply because she reminds me of Princess Carolyn from BoJack Horseman because of her voice. Like, it isn't an exact match, I know, but it reminds me of the way Princess Carolyn would talk, and it kinda sounds like her, so my brain's like, she reminds me of Princess Carolyn. Anyway, when I was going into designing Diona, the first thing I was thinking, like, I got to remove that belly show. That is just, it's not something that a kid her age should be really wearing. Like, there's no reason she should be showing that much skin unless she's, like, going to the beach and wearing, you know, a swimsuit, but she's not. So I made sure to make her dress longer and just also make her shorts longer so she was covering up a little bit more skin. Because, you know, just kids should not be wearing shorts that short or showing their belly. When I was going into this, I also realized that Diona was kind of just supposed to be like a cute kitty healer, as I said in the inspirations part. Like, there wasn't any big cultural things that I could find for her. She's supposed to be a character that's cute, and that's fine. Sometimes characters just exist to be cute, and they don't have any giant, like, inspirations from other cultures put into them, and they're just as valid as characters that you spend hours on with other cultures put into it. So I was keeping everything super poofy, super cute, making sure to keep the cat, like, motifs in there. And I also noticed that she had some flower motifs as well. So just trying to make sure to keep all of it there and make sure she still has the original Diona feel, but just mixing it up a little bit. I got rid of those heeled shoes. I'm not even sure if I can call them heeled. Like, what the hell were they? Like, they were heeled, but they didn't have a back heel, so they were just, you know... I don't even know. I just turned them into regular heeled boots because, oh my god, I cannot imagine trying to walk on those. Like, maybe she's supposed to have those shoes because they're supposed to be like a gag, like cats are really good at balance, but also, no, I don't think anybody could walk in those shoes. I've seen people try to walk in shoes like that and they fall and bust their butts so hard. When it came to coloring, I changed her skin tone because I just wanted her to have a matching pattern to her calico. For a pattern on her ears and her tail, because to me it made no sense, and it doesn't make any sense, like, when it comes to design, at least to me, for a character to have like a calico pattern on the fur and then not have it match up on the skin, because if you were to like shave a calico cat, and I know that's like so cursed, but if you were to shave a calico cat, you would actually see the spots on their fur and see the different spots where the darkness is and where the light fur patterns is, which is really interesting, so I made sure to make that part of her design here. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention is that I added some band-aids to her legs because she goes out all the time trying to find super gross ingredients to put into her drinks to make people not like them, so I imagine she would get kind of scuffed up and hurt trying to do that. I also gave her little calico socks, which is something that I found. I saw somebody give her calico tights on Reddit, and that was Hopeful Deer, so I took that inspiration and put it into my design as well, because calico tights are the cutest freaking things I've ever seen! And last little bit before the time lapse ends here, I also ended up changing her vision placement, because I felt like it was almost a slap in the face to have her vision on her shaker, because she doesn't like alcohol, and alcohol is kind of a source for trauma for her, so I thought it would be better to put it on her bag instead, and instead, you know, not have it on something that she doesn't like. So these redesigns came out so freaking cute, and I loved doing the research for them. These were honestly really fun and somewhat refreshing to do, because I don't draw child characters very much, so it was very, very refreshing to try to take a step back and do something that's not in my comfort zone. And looking back at these redesigns, I am honestly completely satisfied. I don't think there's anything else that I could add to make them look more visually appealing, or to add more storytelling to the character. And as I said in the last video, feel free to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, or even your own headcanons, because I love reading the comments. Honestly, whenever I see a notification pop up saying like, oh, you got a comment on your video, it makes me smile. So if you leave a comment, know that you have made me smile today. If you made it this far into the video, you are just completely freaking awesome, and thank you so much for enjoying my content, my art, and just my rambles. If you want to support me elsewhere, you can go follow me on my other socials, and I also have a Patreon that you can subscribe to. Just a warning though, that Patreon can have some spicy content, so if you're not comfortable with that, I would not recommend joining my Patreon. I also have an Etsy where I sell stickers that I make, jewelry that I make, and I also just recently added prints, with the first print on the shop being a print of Fremine. So if you want to get a Fremine print, go check out my Etsy. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I hope you have a really good day today. Bye bye!